Hello and welcome to FacePrep. In this video, we will be discussing the Infosys hiring process for 2021 passouts. So good news for everybody who has been wanting to land a job in Infosys this year. So if you are a 2021 passout watching this, there has already been contact between colleges and Infosys. The on-campus hiring process is going to start this season. In this video, we'll be discussing a lot of official details in terms of role, package, eligibility criteria. We'll also be discussing what has been the pattern followed in the previous years, and we'll also be discussing what has been the syllabus that has been used in terms of the Infosys recruitment test. This will allow you to ensure that you start your preparation process right away. So first, let's talk about the role, package and important details in terms of on-campus hiring this season. So firstly, let me reiterate, this is for 2021 passouts and this is going to be an on-campus hiring process. So the role is that of a system engineer. System engineer is one of the three roles that usually Infosys hires for. The other two roles are system engineer specialist, and there is also another role called power programmer. So these are three roles which typically Infosys provides for freshers. From the on-campus recruitment process, amongst prevalently large number of colleges, currently the hiring looks like it's going to be open for the system engineer role. The system engineer role is a role with a package of 3.5 lakhs per annum. Now, like I said, this is on campus to select colleges. So if you want to know if your college is an Infosys institution or not, you would need to check with your training and placement officers. And the recruitment process is expected to start in a staggered manner between campuses starting September 2020. It might spill over into October as well. And the student nomination list has already been underway by TPUs. Alright, so there's already been contact between training and placement officers and Infosys, and the interested student list is already being passed. Now let's try to understand the eligibility criteria so that you understand whether you are eligible for the process that's going to happen from your college. So the degrees that are allowed are BE, BTech, ME, MTech, and if you are from any of these 4 degrees, irrespective of the discipline that you are from, you are definitely eligible for this process. MCA and MSc are allowed. If you are from MSc, you would need to be from computer science, electronics, mathematics, physics or statistics streams. In terms of backlogs, Infosys has got a very strict criteria that you cannot have any active backlogs, unlike certain other recruiters who slightly have some amount of leniency in this process. For the Infosys recruitment process, you cannot have any active backlogs. A couple of points of info which Infosys has very clearly detailed out in the official communication to colleges is that the candidate should be willing to relocate to any location as required by Infosys. Another important point that Infosys has also mentioned is that the candidate should be willing to work in different technologies as required by Infosys. So these are 2 key points that Infosys has mentioned in its official communique to colleges. Let's also talk about the academic requirement, which is also forming one crucial part of the eligibility criteria. So this is again official from Infosys for this year. So let's try to understand this particular eligibility criteria in terms of academic requirement. So there is a clear mark criteria that's given for class 10, class 12, diploma if you have graduated from diploma, and BE, BTech and also ME, MTech. Alright. So now in this official info that is being given by Infosys, if you need to kind of understand what this means basically is, first is they have basically given multiple cases. Alright, so now the first thing that you can understand is for class 10 and class 12, the minimum criteria is that you should have got 60% or equivalent. So that's the same criteria for class 10 and it's same for class 12. For diploma, it is 68% minimum academic requirement. You would need to have mentioned that. Now, the reason why there are so many different line items in this table that is actually officially passed on by Infosys to campus, that there are different cases basically. So let's say if there is, so this particular case is if you happen to be a BE BTech student who happens to have his or her grading system for BE BTech on a percentage scheme. So if you are from BE BTech and if you have percentage grading system, then you should have got 68% as the minimum academic requirement. If you happen to follow a CGPA system for BE BTech, then that requirement is 6 on 10. Now, if you end up also being somebody who went on to do a post-graduation, for them also possible permutations are given here by Infosys. So here, so if you happen to be following the percentage grading system on ME MTech in whatever university that you have graduated from or that you are about to graduate from, then there the requirement is 68%, and if the CGPA grading system is followed, then it is 6 on 10. So what is given here are multiple cases. All right. So the first case, for example, is a case of a candidate who follows percentage grading system in his or her university. There is no post graduation for that candidate. The second case basically is that of a candidate who does not have post graduation but who has a CGPA grading system in BE BTech. The third one is for a candidate who has a percentage grading system in both BE BTech and ME MTech. The second one has got CGPA system in BE BTech, percentage in ME MTech, and so on and so forth, right? So I hope this part of the communication is clear to you. This is official from Infosys. Couple of other points that Infosys has also mentioned is that all percentages CGPA should be a simple average for all subjects, semesters, years, including electives, optional subjects, additional subjects, practical subjects, and languages. So you cannot leave out any optional electives or subjects that you might have taken when you do the calculation, when you do this academic requirement calculation. All right. And the key operating word is simple average. They have also explained this with an illustration in their instruction to candidates. Right? So we'll talk about that as well next up. And in case you happen to be somebody who might have done class 12 and diploma, then the best of the two is taken into consideration for the academic requirement. This is an official screenshot of info that Infosys has provided to students. One piece of instruction is you will definitely need to be in possession of your original college ID card when you participate in the virtual interview process. When the recruitment process happens, you need to have your original college ID card. Please ensure that you have both scanned as well as original copies with you. They've also explained how the simple average calculation works. So they've given instructions for this here. So they've also given a tabulation in terms of how do you calculate simple average. So for example, if I'm doing it for 10th and 12th, I will need to ensure that I take up all of the subjects marks, and I'll need to do a simple average by simple aggregate. I would also need to end up doing it when I calculate that for diploma, graduation, and post graduation. All right. So they've also mentioned that if your college or school follows a grade system, you will need to enter average of marks that are equivalent to. So if you have a grading system against courses or subjects that you take in UG or PG, then you will need to enter the marks that are equivalent to that in order to calculate the simple average, thereby understanding if you are meeting the academic requirement for Infosys. So this illustration is available with training and placement officers, and if your campus happens to be an Infosys campus where Infosys is going to visit this time, then please ensure that you take the help of your college in terms of finding out and also performing this calculation. Now let's try to understand what has been the Infosys online test pattern from previous year. While there hasn't been any official info yet on Infosys' pattern this year, Infosys is also kind of well known for the fact that it hasn't changed its pattern for the last several years. So let's try to understand what has been the pattern from previous year. The online test of Infosys is usually the first stage, that's followed by a technical and then a HR interview. In the online test, there are 3 sections. The first section is called Arithmetic Reasoning and Analytical Thinking. This has got 15 questions to be solved in 25 minutes. The next section is called mathematical reasoning and logical thinking. That has got 10 questions to be solved in 35 minutes. The largest section is the verbal section, which has got 40 questions to be solved in 35 minutes. So from this, it's very evident that there are two things. First is verbal ability plays a huge role in your chances of cracking the Infosys online test. Verbal ability is very heavy on Infosys, so you will need to ensure that you prepare on verbal ability really well. It's historically been the process. The second is that these two sections that you see here, they're not exactly broken down into quant separately, logical separately. They're actually a bit of a mixture. Alright, so let's try to understand what these two sections are, and also in terms of what happens in verbal ability by looking at what has been the test syllabus that Infosys has followed from previous years. The arithmetic, reasoning and analytical thinking section is usually a section which has got questions from 4 topics: data sufficiency, data interpretation, logical deductions, where you have a pair of statements or a trio of statements and you will need to identify which of the statements kind of follows from that, right? So basically where you apply logical connectives. And you will also have syllogism questions. Specifically, syllogism is one of the very popular question types that is tested by Infosys. The weightage of syllogisms also is very heavy for Infosys. You would usually have both 2-statement and 3-statement problems of syllogisms in Infosys. So these are the topics from which questions have historically been asked in the arithmetic, reasoning and analytical thinking section. Then comes the mathematical reasoning and logical reasoning section, where you have questions on these topics: data arrangements, cryptarithmetic. Cryptarithmetic, by the way, is a question type that is tested by very few recruiters, and Infosys has been one of the recruiters which has often had questions on cryptarithmetic, where you would literally need to use your deductive powers in terms of solving these questions. These are also questions of very challenging nature. You would also have questions on number series from coding and decoding, time and work, time, speed, distance, permutation, combination, probability. These are also quantitative aptitude topics from which questions are asked, and other quantitative aptitude topics also have had questions in previous years, such as profit and loss, partnerships, averages, algebra, ratios and proportions too. These are the most predominant topics: data arrangements, cryptarithmetic, number series, time and work, time, speed, distance, permutation, combination, probability. But do focus on the other quantitative aptitude topics also, such as these. Right? So this is the syllabus that has been tested in this section in previous years. Verbal ability, the heaviest section, the most important section for Infosys, has had topics on these, has had questions from these topics. Reading comprehension, definitively forming a crucial part of the 40 question section. Historically, students have had between 1 to 2 reading comprehension passages, which have usually been of challenging nature. There have also been para-jumble questions. Both fixed jumble and moving jumble questions have been asked. Error spotting, sentence correction has been a very prevalent part. Here you will need to go through all of the popular error types, such as subject-verb agreement, modifiers, parallelism, pronoun antecedent agreement, comparisons, prepositions, articles, interrogatives, determiners, tenses. These are very popular error types that are tested whenever you do sentence correction or error spotting questions. Then you should also prepare for sentence completion, where you can have single blank as well as double blank questions. Vocabulary also plays a major role, and historically vocabulary questions in Infosys have been contextual questions, where you are given a sentence and you are asked to find out the meanings or antonyms of words that are underlined within the context of a given sentence, rather than just throwing words at you. There have also been questions on critical reasoning. Critical reasoning again is a very crucial topic. Very few recruiters end up having questions on critical reasoning. It's usually one of the challenging topics in this this whole test. In overall verbal ability itself, critical reasoning is a very challenging topic, and here also you will need to put a lot of your emphasis on. So this has been that syllabus that has been followed by Infosys from previous years.
Hey YouTube, how are you doing? Stay tuned to FacePrep for more awesome videos. Don't forget to subscribe.